That is leg stump.
So semi-final 2 has two excellent teams in it. Very hard to separate them. There's a lot of power, there's a bit of spin, and there's a bit of pace from both. A couple of overseas players for the Nottinghamshire Outlaws. Lancashire said, we will have a bat. Alex Davies, dashing right-hander, and Liam Livingston at the other end. It is a pitch very much like Old Trafford. There's a bit of pace in it, but there's a bit of spin, and the boundaries are big. How do you see it, Mark Butcher?
Tell you what, I was a little surprised when Dane Villa said we'll have a bat first, given what we've just seen. But it was a decision made purely on the fact that they've done it well throughout the tournament, and nothing really to do with what we saw in the first semi-final.
Imad Wasim. Ball just comes back in. We've seen that before. Not a lot of spin away from the right-hander, but that angle in.
To answer your question, Rob, I went for Lancashire yesterday. Had we gone 20 over game, I went for Lancs.
Brilliant fielding from Samit Patel. Saved a certain boundary.
Which will really upset my mother-in-law. Just simply because I watched Notts go about that run chase against Leicestershire the other day. Squeaked into the quarterfinals. Brilliant from Samit, the backward point. I just felt in the games that I've watched Lancashire play this year, they've been very clear in terms of their roles and the way that everybody is going about their business in these T20 games. Livingston has quite had the sort of tournament that he'd want, but then he spent most of the early part of the summer in the bubble with England, not playing any competitive cricket. Sort of came into the tournament a little late and has been trying to play a bit of catch-up. Davies has been brilliant, though.
Well, both teams know exactly what it's like to be in this position. Got good pedigree in this competition. Look down, though, at that Notts team, the power in the batting. Captain Dan Christian, who'll fly back to Australia pretty soon after this game, or the final if they get there. Samit Patel in at 8. Oh, a little bit of grip. I just think this is a surface that will suit Lancashire more. You go to Old Trafford, there's a bit of bounce, but there's a bit of spin, and it's a big surface.
Yeah, I agree. Cannot argue with you on that. Means nothing, of course.
Like most things, no one cares. 5 for none.
The 8th finals day for Lancashire. 6th for the Outlaws. Teams who have been there and done it many times. Outlaws winning it last in 2017. The only time, in fact, in 2017. Lancashire winners in 2015. So both teams chock full of talent. Samit Patel at 8, Imad Wasim at 9, and Matthew Carter can hit a long ball down there at 10.
And Jake Ball, another man with a lot of experience, but with good pace actually. I got a bit of bounce out at Trent Bridge on Thursday. Leicestershire batsman didn't really know what to do. Ball just back of a length, and it zipped through head high to the keeper. The odd slow ball. There's a bit of bounce in this surface, but the field set, fine leg up. Third man up, but deep square leg, deep cover. Sets it with a slow ball. Oh, back goes, ball goes.
Fielder scrambling around out there in the sodden outfield. And you hustle back for 3. And someone's going to go and retrieve his bat. You can't touch it. Don't touch it. Nobody touch the bat.
Well, I reckon Tom Moore's lost his glove as well at the same time. He was trying to do something, and his glove went. The bat came flying out of his hand. I mean, this is what he lives for. Just any sort of width.
I reckon he's a bit pumped up. Might have tried to hit that into next week. was the mistake, I think, that Gloucestershire made batting first. Came out, tried to hit the ball so hard from the off, and before they knew it, they were 5 off the first 2 overs in the previous semi-final.
Good shot. Field is different actually. For Davies, they have the deep cover. But for Livingston, it's different. Deep mid-wicket, deep square leg. Jake Ball just sort of runs up, looking like he's going to bowl a knuckleball, or has done. He did it on Thursday as well, where he just sets it like he's going to bowl a slow ball, and obviously just changes it late. See how he just sets that finger on the ball. You see that as a batsman, he just changes it at the last minute. Not that time, but that is a beautiful shot, straight down the ground.
Oh, I'll tell you what, that's a shot of high quality. 284 runs in the tournament before this innings. Stephen Davies is in some nick. Simplicity in itself, high hands, enabling him to hit that length slower ball out of the middle of the bat, straight as a die.
Oh, slapped.
Well, first shot down the ground had a touch of the classics about it. This one is thoroughly modern. Clear the left side early, flat bat it, back over the bowler's head. Results the same. And, Jake Ball and the slower ball he shows is not conning Stephen Davies at the moment.
No, it doesn't matter at all. Problem is, he's got no margin for that quicker ball with the field set as it is.
Oh, wait there.
That's better. Just give him no width. He's the sort of batsman that, even on off stump, can give himself width to get it through the offside.
Yeah, you're right, he does that often. Run up and think you've bowled an excellent delivery hitting the top of off stump, and he's just given himself a fraction. Short man. Cut it away off stump. Stephen Croft there with the helmet on. Second top scorer for Lancs in the comp.
Slow ball Yorker. Good over for Lancashire, 18 for none.
Change bowling, left arm around the wicket to you. We're coming through and around. Through and around to you.
Well, you can see on the hat of Martin Saggers, he's wearing a hat for the Professional Cricketers Trust. You can donate. Text Trust Cricket 5 to 70085, that's for £5, or Trust Cricket 10 to the same number to donate £10. The Professional Cricketers Trust has had a pretty tough year, like everyone, like every charity. It does so much good work, so much help to just so many people.
Yes, I'll have it.
Anything you can give will be much appreciated.
Samit Patel. 235 wickets and 288 matches for the veteran, 35 years young.
Catch it! Yeah!
Oh, excellent catch. Samit Patel, he's in the game straight away. That was hit hard, it was hit flat, but it picked Mullaney out.
10th wicket for Samit Patel, and it's a big one. Davies had all the acreage in the world to aim for if he just got the elevation on that sweep shot, bottom half of the bat, and it's a really good catch from Mullaney. A couple of the old fellas teaming up there. Samit Patel's in the game straight away. Davies goes for 15, 18 for 1.
For batsman Stephen Croft, Keaton Jennings was scheduled to come in at number 3, but Stephen Croft has come in. Still a little bit left of the power play, effectively an over.
Get it, Dees.
That's a nice shot. That's exactly what Gloucestershire didn't do in the first semi-final. Try all these reverse sweeps and stuff like that. You get value in the power play for just good cricket shots.
Yeah, hit the gap. flatter delivery from Samit Patel, and Croft wait back, just muscles that through extra cover for 4.
Bowling. Tap.
That was a good shot, but it just didn't quite have the elevation. Oh, big shot out into the leg side.
Excellent batting.
Nice, Sammy. Nice, Sam.
You're gorgeous indeed from Stephen Croft. Just gave himself a little bit of room. Samit Patel followed him, darted the ball outside leg stump.
Nice, Sammy.
Just punted it down the ground.
28 for 1. This is the thing, you get to this stage in the competition, you know so much about how the opposition are going to go through a power play, even a shortened one. You know whether you're going to be faced with spin or seam, so you can come up with a plan, and you'd say Croft straight away. He's 10 from 4. Croft has executed his plan so far. So we've got 2 balls left in the power play. I mean,
don't start me off. I mean, this game sometimes, talk about sort of making it accessible and easy for people to understand. Why wouldn't you just round that down to 3 overs?
That's what it always used to be, isn't it? Then someone's come up with this idea and thought, I tell you what, this will make more people watch. That's hit hard, but picks out cover. Such fast hands, Livingston.
Not too much, Sammy, a little bit.
Here we go, 1 more ball, then they can change the field. Everyone's on the ring, everyone else is out. Power play is done with a boundary.
Nicely clipped from Livingston. Imad Wasim starts to wave the arms around to dismiss 1 or 2 of the scouts from inside the ring. That's just pure timing from Livingston. Nobody within a mile of that one. There you go, 3.2. 20 balls of power play over and done with.
That's why it's so hard. That's why you're surprised, aren't you? You said at the start, when you win the toss in a shortened game and you elect to bat, because you have no idea. It's very hard to know what a good score is, especially when you see the opposition's batting lineup. Nash, Hales, Clark, Duckett, Moores, Christian. This is a good start, you'd say, from Lancashire.
Sammy, hit him.
Yeah, 2 teams in the North group. They might get back for a second here. No good backing up from ball. Finishing first and second. Lancashire's home game that was at Liverpool was abandoned. Notts won at Trent Bridge by 6 wickets. And Nottinghamshire chased against them and was successful. I mean, I think you get 9 over. What's that? 99. Yes, it is. Well done. You're in the game, aren't you? 9, 10 and over. I think you're in the game.
Give me. Everything, ball boy.
Well, and in that you'd say it's been a decent over from Imad Wasim. 36 for 1.
Here is the power play. Such a class from Davies from the slower ball of ball. And then something a bit more brutal, the very next delivery. Didn't get this one over the head of Stephen Mullaney. Samit Patel's bumped up. Croft got away first ball with that boundary. Followed up with a towering 6 over long on. First boundary for Liam Livingston, and that's it done.
1. Off. Run him out.
2 here. We'll get him comfortably Man at mid-wicket was right back on the fence, and it's a huge boundary out there on the leg side when bowling from the Birmingham end to a right-hander.
Yeah, he's trying to work out exactly where he wants that mid-wicket. I'll try and guess what the batsman's looking to do. To try and play for a couple of overs, or they're going to go big.
You always think in a traditional T20 game that last 5 overs you get pretty much teams will get 50 unless they're 8 down or something.
That could have been hit anywhere.
So at the moment, the rate that Lancashire are going at, would take that into consideration. They're on for 100 or above in this 11-over contest.
Especially as well, T20 or T11, if this you call it this, is generally about bowling. The good batting teams is fair enough, but Lancashire have an excellent bowling side. So actually the bowling in a way is stronger than their batting.
It'd have to be E11, wouldn't it? 11-11.
Oh, you've done me there.
Well, the T in T20 stands for 20, doesn't it? 2020.
I suppose it does.
Yeah.
Why do they call it T? Yeah, okay.
Well, you're going to say T10 then,
Put the mic down, quick. How long am I on for?
Catch it, Sam. Go, you go, you go. Nice, mate.
Oh, 43 for one.
It's been a long couple of days. There's been some extraordinary conversations up here in the commentary box as we've watched the rain come down. And one or two minds have been lost, I think.
Yeah, still no excuse.
Swear jar's pretty full as well.
Well, I'm normally the one who likes picking people out for that type of stuff.
That's hurt you, isn't it? That?
Yeah, that's dumb. Anyway, Dan Christian. Dan Christian, again, when you go back to the quarter-final, and that surface ran in and used the middle of the pitch with deep mid-wicket and deep square leg and long on back. So he wanted you really to try and take him on into that leg side, and that's exactly what he's doing here. Long on, deep mid-wicket, both those men up at third man and fine leg.
I think I would have done that from the other end if I was Dan Christian.
Now a bigger boundary. That's going to beat fine leg, who's up in the circle, should be fought.
Just tend to yield quite a lot of boundaries, Dan Christian, and pick up wickets. But he's a bowler that at times can go round the park if he doesn't get it spot on. Croft is going to set himself deep in his crease and look for that slower ball, that shorter slower ball, hit towards the short boundary.
Going down.
Oh, fucking hell.
Just looked like, if anything, maybe bat. No, just missing leg stump. Sorry if you heard any sort of swearing through the stump microphone. Hit hard, hit really hard, all along the ground and all the way for four.
Scorching turf, this one from Livingston. Absolutely smoked it. Christian is perhaps wary of that short leg side boundary and has bowled fuller than perhaps Lancashire might be expecting, but that ended up right in the slot.
Trying to hit that even harder. Yeah, absolutely right. The point you made, he's got the shorter boundary. It's not a tiny boundary, but to the leg side. This is a couple of balls ago. Right in the slot. Changing the field. Fine leg goes back, mid-off up. Well, one thing it's got to be what? Into the body. Around leg stump, maybe short. Wait to the square leg, umpire gets away with it.
Croft's not happy. David Milnes, the square leg umpire, member of the fast bowling fraternity, figured that Christian was just about within bounds here. Not sure I agree with him, to be honest.
Well, this will tell us. And he was jumping. Spliced. Slight hesitation. 6 overs done, 54 for 1.
54 for 1, the Lightning off 6, a slightly less frenetic start to the innings than we saw from Gloucestershire in the first game. I think that's the advantage that the second semi-finalists have had, just to take a little time to sit and watch and gather their thoughts. Carter now to bowl some off spin. Interesting to listen to Gareth Batty as well after the first game, saying that he thought the pitch would get better and better throughout the day, that the stickiness and the dampness, obviously we would expect, having had 2 days of rain here, that would disappear. Conditions would improve, so you'd maybe expect to see the scores increase during the day.
Yeah, Lancashire after an excellent start here. Alex Davies got things moving. You say wicket might be slightly improving.
Swept away, and he's a strong lad, is Liam Livingston. First 6 for him, to go with a couple of boundary 4s as well.
The hand speed on this shot, it was a quicker delivery right in the arc, but just the hands through the ball at the last minute. So good.
Yeah, he's just starting to motor now. He took his time. I said it was a less frenetic start from Lancashire, and Livingston has been there from the start, but he's 22 from 13 now. It's a big ground here at Edgbaston, but not many grounds are big enough for Livingston if he's on the charge. Misses this time.
Yeah, even in that shot you can see he's holding nothing back, just hands helicoptered.
Swept again. Not sure this time he's got enough. No, he hasn't. So an important wicket for the Outlaws. Livingston, just as he was starting to motor, looking to repeat the 6 from earlier in the over, has gone for 22. Lancashire 61 for 2.
Yeah, got it on the toe end of the bat, didn't he? He just had to let it come to him a fraction more to try and get it out the middle. Easy as you like catch there for ball on the boundary. So an important wicket just to stem the flow of runs. Livingston goes for 12, Lancashire 61 for 2.
Dane Vias, the captain, in at number 4. I think Livingston will be a little disappointed with himself. He settled himself at the start. He was just getting going and eyeing up that quite long leg side boundary. He'd already taken 1-6 from the over. Carter will continue round the wicket.
Get it, DC. Yeah, nice. Nice, dude.
Ends the over well, 61 for 2 from 7.
You feel runs on the board in a finals day as such. It's always the key element. Livingston gave us a bit of entertainment. He's 22 off 15. 2 very good sides though. Plenty of batting to come. Keaton Jennings, with his experience.
Yeah, not dissimilar. quite aggressive batsman at the front. Plenty of bowlers who bowl spin and take pace off the ball. I'd say Notts bat deeper. That's one point of difference between the teams. When you've got Sam Patel coming in at 8, Imad Wasim at 9, you'd maybe say that when you match them up, that's one area that Notts look a little stronger. Imad bowling his 3rd over, so he's been the choice for a man to bowl the extra over for Notts. Top edge sweep. Oh, and just gets away with it at full stretch. Was short, fine leg, and couldn't quite get there. Chris Nash it was, coming around at full stretch, and the ball just evading his fingertips.
Yeah, this was a hard catch. Tried to take it from outside the off stump. Got the top edge in the end. Nash saw it early, moved. Put in the full dive, got a fingertip to it. He'll be frustrated. It was a hard chance. Showing a little bit much there.
Yeah, just lost his trousers at the end. He looks as though he's hurt himself as well. He was at absolute full stretch. Physio has been shooed away. Chris Nash, of course, is done with Nottinghamshire after the end of this season. He's enjoyed his time up at Trent Bridge. I think he's looking to stay in the game with maybe get a T20 contract with another team, but I think marketing is where he's looking to turn his attentions to as he moves into a post-cricket career. Definitely hurt himself diving for the ball.
Just picking up on that Nash point, it's an interesting one end of your career, thinking of Gareth Batty, who's kind of got that player coach role with Durban, of course, injured. He's popped in. Just having a look here, I wonder if he's struggling. That's not what you want. Potentially a sub coming on. What do you think he's hurt? I'm trying to work out whether it's ankle or quad or something like that.
Hip, something like that, as he hit the ground. Just kind of jerky dive, wasn't it? And his knee then just hit the turf, and either knee or hip that has taken the brunt of it. Let's hope that if Notts get through this game, that he's fit enough for the final. Otherwise, that will be the last that the Notts fans see of him.
That was a really interesting delivery, wasn't it? Normally fires it in with a bit of shape and angle. This one, it's kind of wobbled out, or...
Catch it, Joe!
Yeah, he's not an orthodox spinner. See other slow left armers in this game, and more generally, Imad Wasim is very different balls, very wide of the crease. He fires it in generally. He's not looking to spin the ball as much as he can, although he will bowl the odd delivery that's a little bit slower and holds up off the surface.
Go. I love it, Joe! No, wrong end.
Sorry, back for a second, and Imad Wasim does well to duck out of the way of the throw. Lancashire 68 for 2 from 8.
Comfortably home in the end, but awkward bounce nearly wiped him out. We're just getting prepped, not in for a little while, but I want to be ready to go in a shortened game. Only 3 overs left though. Looks like it's going to be Croft.
Leg side he goes, and goes well. Yep, over deep square leg. He did well to get across so that he could help that over to the leg side. 74 for 2, a good way to start the over for Lancashire.
He's been looking to go leg side a lot. This time he just shuffled a little bit further outside the off stump and then got the ball he was looking for. Good connection. It's ticking really nicely. Good strike rate. 163.
He is, yeah, 31 from 19. Couple of fours, couple of sixes. This will just be a single to Samit Patel, and the dive gets him home. Butcher thought that Lancashire were looking at around about 100. He said 50 off the last 5 will get them to 100 or thereabouts. I would have thought that would be the ballpark figure that a team would look for in an 11-over match. Given. Vyas looking to reverse sweep, has missed it, and fairly straightforward decision and success for Matt Carter.
Yeah, you can't really afford to miss these ones. Good pace. It ended up just hitting on the knee roll, have easily cannoned into that off stump. Carter picks up another wicket. Villas has got to go for 5. Lancashire 75 for 3.
Hit him pretty much on the full, Vyas, as he was looking to reverse sweep the ball away. Would have hit the base of off stump, according to Hawkeye. So Keaton Jennings, who changes role in the short form of the game, an opening batsman in red ball cricket, comes in the middle order in the short form of the game, but he's a good player of spin. He'll sweep and reverse sweep as effectively as anyone. For the moment, that's the sensible play. Give Croft as much strike as he can.
Get that. One Joe, in.
Innings was pushing, but I fancy that Croft only wanted the single to keep the strike. It's 77 for 3.
Yeah, 2 overs to go. I was just thinking you've got to go hard here. 77, decent score if they can add another 20 odd. Jake Ball's got another over available. One bowler can bowl 3 and then the rest 2s.
Jake Ball has had a very successful blast campaign this summer. He's picked up a lot of wickets towards the end of the innings. Notts have got a varied attack. They've got lots of bowlers who bowl spin or take pace off the ball. And Jake Ball, who's the quickest of the bowlers on show and likes to come back at the end of the innings, and does so very successfully, or has done so this year. So 2 overs. What can Lancashire get to set the Outlaws for a place in the final? To meet Surrey, that's what's at stake here. Surrey having breezed past Gloucestershire really in the opening game. And they await the winners of this match. Ball will come round the wicket. It's something we first saw Stuart Broad do, really, way back in around about 2009. I remember in the World T20 in England, in that competition, Broad enjoyed the end of the innings coming round the wicket, and that's what Ball is doing now. Should be a wide.
Just having a look at the bowlers as well. Ball will finish up here. I think it's going to have to be Christian in that final over. Carter's bowled out. Remember, only 3, which has been bowled by Imad Wasim, and then The maximum you're allowed after that is 2. So the ball will complete here, and then you feel it'll be Dan Christian to wrap it up.
Swung away, leg side, not enough. Taken, easily taken. And Croft kicks the turf in frustration. The acceleration he was looking for won't come from him.
Yeah, well caught as well. This was the substitute fielder out there. Important moment. Croft just trying to accelerate the score, but Zach Chappell takes a comfortable catch in the end. And how important that might be towards the end of the game. Well, Stephen Croft, sprightly innings, 33, Lancashire 78 for 4.
Yep, good innings, 33 from 22. He's a very powerful player who can muscle the ball away. So it's a good time for Notts to take his wicket. Rob Jones joins Keaton Jennings. Lightning have 11 balls left to push that score up. They dearly love to get it into 3 figures. Notts have taken a couple of very handy wickets of late. Excellent Yorker. Innings will just pick up the single.
Have you seen the Twitter comparisons of Keaton Jennings and David Gower?
Really?
Yeah, there's some good photos.
Hairstyle rather than batting style.
Of course, yes, of course. Yeah, it's almost uncanny, actually. Lockdown locks been on show this summer.
Always hard to come by.
Yeah, it'd be good to see how Jones gets on. Talented batter, maybe not the most amount of power. You have to get the timing right and possibly run a couple of 2s hard if possible in this last phase.
9 balls left in the innings. Jake Ball has 3 of them. He's 1 for 16. Slow ball bowled into the surface. This is an impressively constructed over so far from Jake Ball.
Yeah, really good change up there. The speed dropped down to mid-60s. Just bowling the cutter into the surface. Got some good bounce, hard to control.
Good stuff from Jake Ball. If you want to see the IPL game between Chennai and the Kings 11 Punjab, that will be on the cricket channel, but red button. So if you want to watch IPL instead of the Blast, the red button's the place to go. If you want the Blast, just stay with us here on the cricket channel. Right off the cue end from Keaton Jennings, who was looking to dink that away onto the leg side, and will pick up 2 in the most unusual fashion. But that was a from Jake Ball. 1 remaining. Lancashire 84 for 4. And Christian it will be to bowl the last. Just a reminder that that IPL game is on the cricket channel on the red button. But, stay with us here at Birmingham for the end of the second semi-final to decide who will play Surrey in the final of this year's Blast. 1 over remaining. Lancashire Lightning 84 for 4. They could do with a grandstand finish. And Christian to bowl the last over. He's got a lengthy journey that awaits him at the end of Nottinghamshire duties as he looks to get back to Melbourne somehow. I think he's going via Singapore to Perth and then has to quarantine for a couple of weeks in Perth. before he can take a domestic flight to Melbourne. I think Melbourne's domestic airport is open, but not the international airport. Keaton Jennings just takes a look over his right shoulder. He's looking to pick the shorter leg side boundary. But Dan Christian does well. He pushes it wide, and Keaton Jennings can only get a single.
Yeah, well, like you say, this now plays into the hands. Jones, like we say, not the most powerful striker. The leg side, very deep field. He can just bowl the ball pretty straight. He needs to. It'll be hard to extract any boundaries in these last few balls.
Smart bowling from Dan Christian, who had his eyes on Rob Jones and followed him to the leg side. No boundaries since Stephen Croft hit that 6 to the leg side at the start of the 9th over. No 4s since the end of the 6th over. Had a couple of 6s since then, but boundaries have been hard to come by for the Lightning, and that's testament to some clever bowling, good field placing. Dan Christian, mighty experience, of course. Been around a long time, knows exactly what he's doing. He's got 3 balls left. Hits high on the bat, and Keaton Jennings won't come back for the second.
Yeah, you can see all the experience here. Earlier he followed Rob Jones in the over, that time charging and just dragged it a little bit shorter. Just bowling a perfect over at the moment. 2 balls to keep things tidy, and you'd feel this is a chaseable score on this wicket.
Well, just lacked a bit of power in the last couple of overs, Lancashire. Jennings clips into the leg side. Only a single again. Excellent over this from Dan Christian. 4 singles and a 2. We've only got 1 ball remaining now. Lancashire 90 for 4.
I have to say this was an excellent bit of fielding as well. Got to it very quickly and got it out the hands. Gave them no chance of picking up a 2. It'll be sharp.
Teams changing at opposite ends of the ground. Lancashire at the far end. Notts here, this end, the pavilion end, or the commentary box end. A wide, and batsmen scamper through, so Jennings will be on strike for the last ball. Only one, should be one, as they come back for a second. Not sure Jennings will make it. A full-length dive, and it'll be tight, but it's not the boundary he was looking for. And Notts will feel that they've done pretty well to restrict Lancashire to a score of below 100. As we just take a look, the throw came in. Full-length dive from Jennings. He's just made his ground. Umpire will take another look, but it's clear that Jennings is home, so he finishes with a 2. Lancashire finish on 94 for 4 from their 11 overs. They made a bright start. They just couldn't quite find the boundary in the last 3 overs.
Yeah, Dan Christian will feel pleased with his bowlers, restricting and keeping things tight. Excellent from Ball, himself wrapping things up. Lancashire, though, will feel they've got some runs on the board and something to work with.
Yeah, Livingston got out just as he was going. 22 from 15. Croft played powerfully for 33 from 22. Then the innings just rather fell away upon his dismissal. 94 for 4 the Lightning finished with.
And for the bowlers, stand out. Carter in the middle picking up 2, slowing the innings down, and of course Ball and Patel chipping in with 1 each.
highest scoring second semi-final so far. Lancashire have set the Notts Outlaws 95 to win this game and to take a place in the final alongside Surrey. Short break from us, and when we come back, we'll see the second half of this game, the Notts Outlaws with bat in hand to see whether they can reach this victory target of 95.
Who's the happier?
I think both sides are very happy, actually, because at one stage it looked like Lancashire were going to get 100 plus when Livingston and Croft were going well. But then the way Ball and Christian and Carter bowled towards the end of the innings to keep them down in the 90s with the lineup that Notts have, I think they'll feel very comfortable as well.
Batting been not straightforward. I mean, it's only a small sample, so I've only had 3 innings, but it doesn't look like anyone's perhaps batted with any fluency quite yet.
No, you could say it with every innings it's looked a little bit better. You know, it may just be skidding on a little bit better, but no one has absolutely nailed every single shot. That's why that score is a pretty decent score, 94. Obviously, if Alex Hales suddenly goes berserk and smashes it everywhere, then Notts will feel very comfortable. You have to bear in mind what happened last year in a semi-final when they needed a run of ball 12 with 8 wickets in hand and lost. So this is going to be their redemption a little bit if they can get over the line here. But I think we're going to have a really close one. That first semi-final, once Gloucester were all out for 70-odd, you knew that was done and dusted. This one, I think, could go right down to the wire.
Pete Moore's just run down there. He's on his own at the moment in the dugout. Will that be the sort of thing they talked about, your reference to last year? Will that just be swept under the carpet? That was last year, don't worry about it. It's not going to happen again this year.
No, with the way in the quarter-final, the way they nearly collapsed, they may have just had a mention and said, if you're in a big semi-final, you've got a chance to finish it, take responsibility and finish it. So I think they will be a bit more ruthless if they get in that situation again, or you'd hope they'd be a bit more ruthless.
We talked up Liam Livingston, we talked up Matt Parkinson with the ball. Do we think they're going to have a contribution there to make with conditions as they are?
Yeah, I think so. I think now Edgbaston, even in these conditions, cold at night, I think it will spin, it always does. I think there may be, as the night progresses, a little bit more for the batsmen as it skids on for the seamers. Livingston bowled very well in that semi. Matt Parkinson bowls very well every time we see him. Saqib Mahmood will get it through. I've been watching him warm up. He really gets it through nicely. So it's set up absolutely perfectly.
Well, Ben Duckett's just come down there. You can see Alex Hales is following him quickly. No Chris Nash at the moment. Of course, he limped off. Well, his problem with his shoulder, which we saw, I think, a game we covered a couple of years ago. He thinks he's had a shoulder operation. Let's hope it's not a major problem. This is going to be his last day with the club. He moves on after that. It's a shame if he can't play.
Yeah, it is a shame, but they've got so much batting, you'd presume everyone just moves up one. Sami Patel, Imad Wasim ends up moving up one. It is a blow for Nash. He can obviously bat down the order, and he may still be needed. And obviously, if there is a final for Notts, that will be a massive blow for him. But the first things first is get these 94 runs and get into the final.
Right, well, it looks like it might be Ben Duckett and Alex Hales to open up. They have Joe Clark, who's also wandering down now. They have plenty of power, they have plenty of batting, but so do they in terms of power with the ball. They've been terrific throughout the tournament. They have played against each other a lot in previous years. They, of course, play in the North Group. It's Notts who've won the contest 8 out of the last 9 times, but they have a run chase here. 95 runs to get in the final. Let's get back upstairs.
Alex Hales, the ominous figure of Alex Hales with a big blade in his hand, looking focused as he walks out to the middle to try and propel the Notts Outlaws into a third final of the T20 Blast. He won't have his regular partner Chris Nash with him, who's injured. Dane Villas just going through the last instructions for his Lancashire side. They're perhaps 10 runs short of where they might have been given the start that they made, but 95 from 66 deliveries is still going to take some getting. Got plenty of bowling options at their disposal. Saqib Mahmood with the pace and the Yorkers, Matt Parkinson with the leg spin, and a Nottinghamshire side that although they are full of power pack batting, they've had more than a little wobble in semi-finals in the recent past. Think of the collapse last year here against Worcestershire, and then almost not making it to finals day against Leicestershire just on Thursday. A couple of fielding errors. Alan Lilly's the most striking, that allowed them to sneak in through the back door in that quarter-final at Trent Bridge. Should be an absolute cracker. Two fantastic teams, two very strong sides, runaway leaders of the North Group, facing off in this semi-final. Ben Duckett has had an excellent campaign. 274 runs for him. He finds himself up the order. Left-right opening partnership for Nottinghamshire. And Tom Hartley will be bowling from the Birmingham end. Fantastic strike rate for Alex Hales.
Catch it.
Duckett's away first ball. Evening, Rob Key.
Evening, Butch. Evening, everyone. It should be a classic, this. You've got two very good sides. And I reckon this, 3.2 overs of this power play is going to be absolutely crucial.
Another ball there, staying leg side of it here, boys.
Don't go anywhere over the next, well, certainly hour and a bit, but this next 3 overs, it's going to be fascinating to see how they tackle it, how they go about negotiating it.
Spin. Sharp work from Alex Davies behind the stumps.
Some good left arm spin, haven't we, in the last couple of weeks? Callum Parkinson playing for Leicestershire looked good. That looks just beautiful. Nice bit of drop and a bit of spin. Moriarty, we'll see him again. He's looked good in a time when you start wondering where England's spinners are. Got Bess, Leach. Looks like there's some good young bowlers about. Hartley just 22 years of age.
Mistake here against left arm spin here, lads.
Sweep into the wide open spaces.
Back that end, please.
Can't quite make it to the boundary, and Hales has got to get his skates on because Duckett is quick and coming back for 3.
Well, that just gives you just an idea that the boundaries aren't tiny here. That wasn't hit well. But that's a fair-sized boundary out to that leg side.
He's sent in just for this, lads.
Down the track and banged over long on. That's high quality from Duckett.
Yeah, and the bonus of having a left-hander in, ball spinning away from the right-hander with a bit of rip out of the surface, but it's a different game for the left-hander. You feel you can use your feet, you just get to the line and the pitch of the ball and then hit with the spin.
Yeah, nice little drop kick into one of the shorter pockets on this Edgbaston ground.
Yes, Tommy, lovely bowling tee. Lovely ball here, lad.
Nicely bowled, just that sort of angle across so it doesn't spin.
Lovely ball with
So
tee here,
much
lads.
in that arc for a left-hander.
One straight up here, one straight up here.
If you can just keep that trying to go across him rather than come back.
One miss sweep here. Yes, Trotty.
Hales will do this. I don't think it matters who his partner is, but 12 from the first over. Doesn't matter who's at the other end batting with Alex Hales. He'll always give himself a bit of time. Just go easy. Give himself 6 balls, 8 balls, just to suss out what's going on before he starts to open the shoulders. Boundaries dried up for Lancashire at the back end of their innings. 17 balls without a boundary at the end of Lancashire's innings. They ended up falling short of 194 for 4. Just look at that lineup for the Outlaws. One thing you say with a lineup like that is do not leave it to the man coming in next. Somebody take responsibility.
But it just must give you a little bit of freedom as a batsman, knowing you've got the likes of that man, the captain, Dan Christian, Tom Moores can hit a decent ball. Sammy Patel's arguably one of the better all-round batsmen of that whole lineup. Take into account 4-day cricket, stuff like that. Luke Wood, bit of pace, left arm.
Slashed away. That's a poor ball. And a freebie for Alex Hales given the field.
And you feel that actually Hales will enjoy this more than the spin. That's all you need, just a fraction outside off stump.
Luke Wood playing for his 3rd team in successive finals days. He was with Nottinghamshire last year, Worcester the year before that, on loan, and now here with Lancs. He's travelled about a bit for a lad of only 25. A handy cricketer, can get that white ball to swing away from the left-hander back into the right, and scores useful lower order runs too.
I think Ben Duckett's a good player. Shots like that, you can have your rundowns and your sixes. It's not bad pace, but the way you can just work that ball into the leg side with that element of time.
Yeah, right. It's quite a sort of a stiff-looking setup almost. Sort of the knees, legs are quite straight and the hips are quite open. But then when the ball's released, there's a lot of fluidity in the way the hands come down and the way he times the ball. Oh, brilliant direct hit, but it's going to cost them. Captain Vilas with the retrieval.
That was an excellent bit of fielding. Picked up well and a decent throw, off balance. That's a great throw. He's way in. You can say, do you need to throw? But I think you do in that situation.
Yeah, fielder wouldn't have known, would he? Just knew there was a small chance. Got a little bit unlucky with the ricochet.
Yeah.
Need to tighten up the line at Alex Hales with this field. Gave himself a bit of room and absolutely timed the trousers off that.
Time the trousers off.
One daft one from this laddie.
Just a reminder, raising funds for the Professional Cricketers Trust during finals date. They've been decimated in terms of their fundraising capability due to the pandemic. So text Trust Cricket 5 to donate £5 to 785, and Trust Cricket 10 to the same number to donate. All donations gratefully received in a very, very good cause. It does great work for cricketers past and present.
$23 for none. I've done that. I've donated. Have you?
Not yet. No.
What's that number again?
Just completely stuffed me there, haven't you? Just because of your T11.
Yeah, all these people that go and, you know, they push these things, and they're the last people to donate. You're one of them. I did 20 quid.
Keep those donations coming in. Saqib Mahmood in for the first time. Getting some warm air into the hands. It is getting mighty chilly out there. Good economy rate. Lancashire very happy to have him back. Curious movement from Alex Hales. So he was setting up for something violent, but changed his mind.
Yeah, he's looking for the big shot, wasn't he? Just almost like a death batting. That's the right way. Clear the left leg and just look to have a steady base and hit through the line. There's the field right. Deep square leg. Fine leg is up. Third man back. Do you go short? I don't think so.
Well, that's flown. That's flown away over third man. Off the top edge. In truth, I'm not sure it's the delivery Saqib Mahmood was looking for. And it deserved to be hit. It wasn't where Hales was aiming it, but he won't mind too much.
I reckon he's almost just sliced that, though, hasn't he? It's almost... maybe not exactly where he intended at the start, but he's so good, and he just gets his hands and his wrists just to flay it over. I don't think he meant to hit it for 6 almost. That shows the extra pace, 88 miles per hour.
Again, giving himself room. This time it falls short of third man. Tom Hartley would have been interested there for a second. And as so often with Alex Hales, he gives himself 6-7 balls. Now he's decided it's time to go. Intentions were reasonably clear there.
Well, less than 6 balls left of the power play. So then you work out if it's a 6-over power play, that last over. If you haven't lost a wicket, you try and swing at every single ball. Well, that's exactly where we're at now. Got to stay tight to Duckett. Duckett enjoys anything, same as a lot of batsmen. Anything wide of that off stump, he can get you through backward point.
Look leg side to the short boundary. 2 fielders converging. Taken. It's a really good catch from Stephen Croft. It looked straightforward as it landed in his hands, but he had a little bit of a jig underneath it as he tried to line it up under the lights.
Oh, that nearly popped its head out. That went a long, long way up. Just watch here, just at this last minute, he has a little bit of a step here where he's just going to misjudge it. Then there, he clings on. Now that just might keep him in check. Just at a dangerous time, Ben Duckett goes for 13, 30 for 1.
Joe Clark has been terrific form, the outstanding batsman for Nottinghamshire in the tournament. 351 runs in the tournament to date. He comes in with his side off to a decent start, but Mahmood has struck. Good hand from Parkinson.
Did well there, managed to get both gloves off, Davies. That was a good hand from Parkinson. One of those at fine leg. Whenever the ball goes to fine leg, you just look around quickly and you think a yard either side and it's a boundary.
slip in place now for Saqib. Clark's first delivery. Vilas calculating that best way to stop a man in form is to nick him off early doors. Oh my goodness me. What a shot that is. That is an absolute outrage from Joe Clark.
What first ball? How's that? What speed was that? 85 miles per hour, your first pill. Right, fair enough, you've played a pull shot for 6. You can take that. The cut shot, the drive, but that's ridiculous. You have to wait a long time to see a better shot than that from someone on their first ball. Like the way he sort of styled it out as well.
I hit those every day. Livingston taken lower handy wickets for Lancashire. And he's got 2 balls to bowl before the power play is over and done with, and then Lancashire can put some scouts back. Hales is eyeing up short leg side boundary. Who knows what Joe Clark's going to do, having just pulled off something that was about 9.9 in terms of level of difficulty.
Yeah.
First delivery. Livingston bowls a little mixture of off spinners, sort of rollers, attempted leg spinners, licorice, all sorts.
Hit me. No,
What do you reckon? Going to be Parkinson from the other end? Bigger boundary to the leg side? That'd be a good battle. Livingston, in a way, you're sort of not sure what's going to come down, so he's harder to set yourself to. Not sure what's coming at you.
Down, please.
Goes to that short leg side again and finds the gap. Second 4 for Hales.
And the power play is done. Finishes with a boundary exactly the same, actually, as what Lancashire did. And that is the highest power play score. Lancashire, the 32 for 1, Notts 41 for 1.
Interesting to see which of the Lancashire bowlers gets to bowl 3. Leg break dipped on Hales, and he just managed to get the corner of the bat on it. I suspect it'll probably be Parkinson, as you say, from the Birmingham end, that he'll have to bowl 3 through the middle.
I think both of these, it'd be a good bet as well, because both of these are going to look to go hard. And Parkinson's one of those bowlers you feel with Hales and Clark in, he could get him out, but he could also go the journey. Can't see them just looking to tick him along.
Oh, given this start, I think that's the gamble you have to take, isn't it? Because at the moment, Nottinghamshire are a long way ahead of the game. And what they'll want is for one of these two to try and see it through to the end. As I said before, don't leave it up to the next guy just because you've got a long batting lineup.
He was going big again there. That's the thing, you can both, while you're both going like this, you can both look to have a bit of a go. One of them gets out, then the other one has to then bat through. Mind you, Clark's only been in for a couple of balls.
Huge. That boundary's not big enough for Alex Hales. Livingston's first over goes for 12, and Lancashire's final hopes are slipping away. 49 for 1.
Got to get Parkinson on now. Get your leg spinner on, your trump card. Got to break this partnership. Again, nothing more than a chip from Hales, and that's gone a long way. That's why now players like Hales, they see it above the eye line. They don't have to run at you. They can then clear the fence just in doing that. You see a bit of that in this. Chris Nash, he went off injured when Notts were fielding, so Ben Duckett came in. Little bit of width from Hales, and he's going to punish you. That was an extraordinary shot that went all the way for 6. And a short ball that went up a long way, caught by Croft. Lancashire had their first wicket. Then we saw an extraordinary shot. First ball. What was that, 87 miles per hour? This Joe Clark's got a bit of talent.
Down, please.
Here we go then, Parkinson. Big boundary out to the leg side, so do you try and use your feet where it's a bit shorter over long off?
You can just now tuck the ball into mid-wicket, albeit it's Liam Livingston out there, and just look to run twos into those huge spaces out there.
Get it! Well done, Parky, well done, mate.
Just isn't any need to allow Parkinson into the game. 50 comes up for Nottinghamshire.
Pressure on this middle order, lads.
Not to know that if you let him into the game... Yeah! Oh, he's knocked him over. That is an absolute ripper. What a beauty. That is a sensational delivery.
Yeah, a bit of drop and a lot of spin as well. Hales done again, exactly like he was at Trent Bridge a couple of days ago. Looks for that little bit of drift, and then it's the spin that does him. Hales goes for 29, second time he's been done by Parkinson in 2 games, 50 for 2.
Well, they needed it. They needed a wicket. They needed rid of Hales. And Parkinson, as he so often is the man to deliver for Lancashire. It was an absolute corker of a delivery. Just an apology if you heard any bad language. A dismissal of Alex Hales. Tom Moores is the new man in. Another left-hander to try to blunt the threat of Parkinson. Open up that short leg side boundary perhaps as well.
Take the easy option here, boys.
Quite what's going on, but Martin Saggers is just having a stern word with Joe Clark. Umpire Milnes is now having a word with Tom Moores. Right, we're hearing that they're warning the Nottinghamshire batsmen that if there is more bad language, Martin Saggers is very animated about this, that Nottinghamshire will be penalised 5 penalty runs if there is any more expletives.
Go and put him on the naughty step. Game on here.
Shades of the quarter-final is today. Alex Hales staying leg side and being done by a ball pitching on Midland leg. Callum, brother of, had already shown his leg-spinning brother the way in the quarter-final.
Get it in, keeper.
There's just a hint of grip. All of a sudden, you look like you're cruising, and then Samit Patel looked like he was coming in at number 8, but then Nash not being able to bat, you think, doesn't look like he's even there. Must be back in the dressing room.
No surprise to see Moores look for that short boundary. He doesn't look to stop too many. 5 overs gone, 52 for 2.
That's a good start from Parkinson. I reckon often when we see him in domestic cricket, on the big occasion, he delivers. Alex Hales got him off to a great start, but he got done again by a brilliant bit of bowling.
Let's go to spin again. It'll be young Tom Hartley this time. Switch of ends for him. A little bit more cover on that short leg side boundary. Isn't going to make any difference. That's gone a long, long way back. Joe Clark is a man in supreme confidence.
I just saw it. You're sitting there thinking, all right, short boundary to the leg side or shorter boundary. But it's Clark, he's just going to look to bat through, and then he gives it to the left-handed Moores with the ball spinning in. No. First ball, 6. Rich has just said that's his 22nd 6 of the competition. It's 22 sixes for Joe Clark alone.
If he's hit one better than his first ball, I'd be shocked.
Yes, T, yes, T. Ben. Come in up, please, just centre. Top. Stay around. The left arm round to you. Catch that.
Straight up in the air. Gone. Dane Vilas, the captain. Spin to win for Lancashire. They've got to pick up wickets and keep doing so to keep this Outlaws unit at bay.
Just can't get the thinking. You've already had a 6 off this over. You then just tick along. You've got a massive boundary out to the leg side. Left arm round, ball just angling away. Have a look at one. Just have a wild swing. Don't even mind if you tried the reverse, something like that. That was just a wild slog when it wasn't needed. Pressure keeps going on Clark. Tom Moores goes for 1, 59 for 3.
Said he doesn't look to block too many, Tom Moores. Just pins the ears back and goes for it. And Christian comes in at number 5. Saw Samit Patel with his pads on. 200s in that T20 cricket for Dan Christian. 1,793 runs in this short form of the game. I suspect he'll keep swinging too.
I just think Tom Moores has got to be a better player than that. He's got a lot of talent. He can hit a decent cricket ball. It's just such a waste. Never mind even if he runs down and looks to hit straight where there's a shorter boundary. And it's high-risk cricket, but slightly less risk in that than what he did there. Talented cricketer.
Be quiet around the dinner table tonight. Pops didn't look very happy, did he?
See that Rob Key was putting you away on commentary. Proper had a go at you.
35 from 32 is the equation. Chris Nash will keep sliding down the order. We think he's jarred his knee. We know he's jarred his knee, but we think he'll keep sliding down the order, is what I mean.
Yeah!
Got him! Oh, yes! Lancashire are not dead yet.
Well, and the man who looked in exceptional form, who was making batting look easy. Well, just done by the Yorker. They're under pressure now. Now it completely flicks. Flips. Joe Clark goes for 17, 61 for 4.
Well, here he is, Samit Patel, the man who was there at the death in the quarter-final to see him over the line. Can he do the same in the semi-final? It's getting tight. They continue to get wickets, Lancashire. Notts now 61 for 4, 2 new batters at the crease. Big wicket of Clark. Hartley impressive, 22-year-old with figures of 2 for 21. Parkinson just as impressive. 1 for 3 in his first.
Not to you, Livy. Bowler's end. Bowler's end.
Should be a couple at least. Yeah, good bit of fielding, so it'll only be 2.
Yeah, I like the look of Hartley with the ball. I thought it was an impressive effort from a 22-year-old to start things off against Alex Hales in the power play. That's quite a challenge for a young man. And then picking up the vital wicket of Joe Clark to keep his team in the game.
Interesting to see what they do if they need Chris Nash, how low he will come in. He went off, if you just joined us, went for a catch, jarred his knee. They've still got Imad Wazim, they've still got a bit of batting. Chris Nash might have to hobble out there and get him over the line. Laney is padded up. No sign of Nash.
Come on, Parky. Come on, Parky. Pole's here. Go in it.
Spinning nicely. I think maybe at this stage the dew would come down.
Just looking at the way backward point went to that then, you'd think so. Watch this bit of fielding.
Was he done by the spin or by the dew? Sometimes they spin in the other direction. No, he's done by the dew. Oh, it's spinning nicely. Parkinson's giving it a beautiful rip. October, dew coming down, and he's still gripping that ball. Another good over for Lancashire, just 5 from it. It's 66 for 4. At this stage, Lancashire was 61 for 2. Problems with Lancashire, didn't get much in those last 3 or 4 overs.
Yeah, they just lack a bit of power. They don't quite have the depth that the Outlaws have down the order, and they didn't get a boundary off the last 17 balls of their innings, which meant they probably fell. 10, a dozen shy of where they wanted to be, but bowlers are keeping them in the game. Parkinson 1 for 8. He'll probably be the man that Lancashire will give 3 overs to.
Livingston back into the attack.
Get it, hit me. Awesome kick. That's nice, Livy. Nice, Livy.
There is that short boundary leg side for the right-handers. He's bowling leggies or a mixture of leggies and off breaks. Leggy there. There is that short boundary. It's been nailed into the Hollies for 6.
Yeah, this short of that side. Probably why Livingston is bowling leg spinners, but swept on length and swept beautifully.
Something I'm amazed Langston did a little bit more, maybe promote Keaton Jennings up the order to have that left-hand right-hand combination. Good player of spin. Keaton Jennings could have taken on that short boundary. They held him back, and in the end he was just trying to blast the seamers at the end with not much effect. Nightmare as a captain when you have a shorter boundary and a left-hand right-hand combination, as it is for Livingston. He's got 2 right-handers trying to hit it into the Hollies. And again, same result, 6 more.
Exceptional striking from Dan Christian. Second one went even further, slightly more in front of square because it was bowled a bit slower and a bit wider by Livingston. But 2 sweet hits.
Well, this was Rob Key's point about Moores. Be smart. Wait till you get with the short boundary. Wait till it's in your half and then target it. And he's done exactly that, Christian. 2 deliveries, both dispatched for 6. Well, just 17 now off 21. Goes again. 6 more. Game-changing over.
Sure is. That required rate now just less than 3.5 runs and over. This is a massive over from Dan Christian. 6, 6, 6 after a dot ball to start. And this over has changed everything.
Well, they've been in the slot, but it still takes some striking. And you might say short boundary, but they've all gone way over. Does help psychologically that you know you have to hit it 3/4 well. He's hit him 100%. Here's the 3 of them. One square, one slightly because of the line over cow corner. And if we have time for the 3rd, no, we don't. We might have done. Change of angle round the wicket. And I think it's going to be the same result. It is. What striking from Dan Christian. 4 sixes, game over.
Yeah, great game management and sense on top of skill from Dan Christian. Seizing the moment. Livingston leg spin to the short side, and he's just thinking to himself, this is the moment that I can win the game for my team. Exceptional hitting.
Can he finish it in style? Why wouldn't you just give it a go? 4 sixes. There's a part of you that wants to be sensible. There's a part of you that wants to hit Livingston for 30 and end the game. You bowl well at the death, bowl the final over. Can he have the final say in this semi-final? Can he do it again? Goes for it, drags it along the ground. What an over for Nottinghamshire, what an over for Christian. 25 from it, 91 for 4.
It's amazing how quickly things can change in a T20 game. Just an over or so ago, there were a few nerves jangling through that Nottinghamshire dressing room. Lancashire felt they were in the game, and 4 consecutive sixes later, the game is done and dusted. Not to know what to do. Slower, wider.
That's what Shane Warne says, isn't it? When someone's going after you, toss it up a bit wider, a bit slower. They did land in the slot, but still great striking. So just 4 needed, 3 overs to go. Now the shorter boundary is to his offside. Slip coming in.
Just switch hit it into the stand.
You never know nowadays. It's so good. Oh, gone. Tossed up. Parkinson again continues to impress. He's been left with too much to do, but he keeps trying. Christian's cameo was a game-changing one.
Yeah, he tried to finish it in style. Slightly different type of leg spin from Parkinson, a bit slower, flightier. And because of the different boundaries, Dan Christian tried to play it differently as well. But came unstuck. What an innings, though. 30 from 13 balls with 4 consecutive sixes to win this game for his team. The game not in doubt now. 91 for 5. Notts just need 4.
Parkinson 13 deliveries, 2 for 8. The damage had been done in the previous over of leg spin. 5 sixes, 4 sixes rather from Christian. Tried to go for the 5th. Comprehensively stumped. So it was the 2 that were in at the end in the quarter-final against Leicestershire on Thursday night. And Wazim on that occasion needed just 2 to win off the last ball. He needs 4 from 17 here. Plenty in, only a couple out. And he hits it over, long on. There's a fielder out there, but he'll go away for 4. And that is a comprehensive win for Nottinghamshire. Brilliant little innings towards the end. They took the pressure. They have their redemption from last year's semi-final when they choked against Worcestershire. No choke tonight. They will face Surrey in the final. Lancashire go out.
An emphatic win for the Outlaws. That one over from Christian just put the game beyond Lancashire's reach. We've got two good teams going into the final. A very strong looking Surrey side, and Nottinghamshire, powered by some excellent cricketers, look a real threat. That was the winning hit from Imad Wasim, who didn't worry about the men in, just put his front foot down the middle of the pitch and slotted it back over Parkinson's head for an emphatic boundary to finish the game. Thumbs up from the skipper, Dan Christian, and he'll be hoping that his team are good enough to get past Surrey. 95 for 5. They've won this semi-final with ease.
They sure have. Their only concern is the injury to Chris Nash, whether he'll be fit to play in the final. There'll be some physiotherapy. We'll have to make that decision. But that was about as comprehensive as you can get in a semi-final. Still a long lineup, even with Nash pushed down the order. Hales played really well, 29 from 17. A little cameo from Clark, 17 off 8. The game-changing, the match-winning innings from Dan Christian, the skipper. 30 in just 13 deliveries.
Spinners impressed for Lancashire. Young Tom Hartley starting things off against Alex Hales, bowled nicely, 2 for 21. Matt Parkinson didn't finish his third over, but was impressive, 2 for 12. It was that expensive over from Liam Livingston, who conceded 37 from his 2 overs, that was so damaging for Lancashire.
The match summary in this second semi-final. Lancashire won the toss, batted first, 94 for 4. Carter with 2 wickets, runs for Croft and Livingston. Notts Outlaws in reply, 95 for 5. Christian 30, 29 for Hales, 2 wickets for Parkinson and Hartley. The Outlaws win by 5 wickets. They will play Surrey in the final.
Yep, and it should be a cracking final. Now this one of the 6s, 1 of 4. This is really where the game was won. It was getting a little tight, it was getting a little tense, but he decided he was going to dispatch 4 6s in a row, and then Imad Wasim just finishing it off. First ball 4, but that's the man there, the captain Dan Christian, who really took the game away from Lancs when it might have got a little tight. So Surrey versus the Outlaws, 2 very, very strong sides, 2 sides with a lot of form, 2 sides with a lot of confidence. Butcher and Rob Key alongside. How impressive was that?
That's the way to do it, isn't it?
Hey, made that look very easy, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it ever got close. I think that Hales and Duckett got them off to a really good start, and they were always ahead of the game. But of course, you lose a couple of wickets. The ghosts of Christmas's past come up, and they remember the Worcester game, and perhaps you have a little bit of a wobble. But that is the way to finish off the match. If you've got a long lineup, you talked about it at the toss, Dan Christian. You've got a long lineup. You can basically just keep banging, just keep going, and I think that Lancashire were, what, 15, 20 runs short, and they were, in the end, never in the game.
Was that calculated from
What's
Dan
that,
Christian?
to just keep banging?
Yeah.
Just keep banging.
Shall we get back to the cricket?
I thought we were talking about that.
I know what you're thinking about, Nigel.
What about, was that calculated? I mean, was that sort of, OK, we got Matt Parkinson on at one end, and we've got Liam Livingston on at the other, and it's getting a bit tight, and I'm going to take on Liam Livingston.
Yeah, I think so, and that's where I was critical of Tom Moore's, really, because what we see here, it's a big boundary that he was trying to take on, and then there's a small boundary to the other side. So you just pick your moments and pick your bowlers, and I mean, Dan Christian's a different class at doing that. He's coming, I've played in a game where he's got 120, I think, in a 20-over game, and you just can't stop him. When he's in this sort of mood, just going into the leg side like that with that bottom hand, it's so hard. What do you do as a bowler? Try a Yorker as a spinner. It's almost impossible to stop him, and that's the difference. That's that little bit of class, that overseas class that he has just been the difference in the end.
OK, well, we can hear from the man Dan Christian. He's with the other captain, and we've got the presentation for you.
Thanks. I'm joined by the losing captain today, Dave Villas. First of all, you must be disappointed after a really good season.
Yeah, obviously very disappointing. You want to get to finals days and you want to go on to get to the final and play in that big knockout game at the end. But, you know, I mean, we can reflect on a good season. We're very happy with that and we're proud of the boys.
At the halfway stage, do you think you had enough runs to defend on the board?
Yeah, I think so. You know, look at the first game. We got to get it tight as well. And then we thought 90 was a good score on that, and unfortunately it wasn't.
It's been an interesting season for many. You must be pleased, though, that your side got this far to finals, Dave.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, with everything that's gone on with the delayed start and all the changes and all the rules and everything like that, it's been very difficult. And, you know, thanks to the ECB, they've done really well to get us a competition, which is fantastic. And to get here is very nice. You know, obviously, playing in October is a bit strange, getting all to this. But, yeah, we're obviously delighted to get here, like I said, but unfortunately just a bit disappointed now.
And a word on Notts, they seem to play pretty well and sort of finished it up in the end clinically.
Yeah, we know Notts very well. Obviously, in the North Group, we play them often. We've got some good power there. They're very, very good side. Obviously, you know, they bat deep, which they did today, and we knew it was going to be a tough chase, and obviously it was just a little bridge too far.
Dave, thanks for your time. Good run this season. Unlucky tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. And time now to call over both a joint presentation for winning captain and also vitality player of the match. Dan, you must be absolutely delighted to get to the final.
Yeah, it was that was a really good performance. I thought we bowled really well. We probably felt up there. They were maybe 15 to 20 short. We felt it was sort of 10 runs and over kind of wicket. So we obviously had to get off to a really good start, and Alex Hales and Ben Duckett and then Joe Clark all set the momentum really well.
Yeah, they got off to a good start with the bat, but you guys seem to drag them back towards the back end of the innings, Carter, and then yourself keeping things tight.
Yeah, we've that's kind of been the way our season's gone. Our regardless of how the start's been, whether we've got off to a good start or the opposition's got off to a good start, our spinners and medium pacers have generally done the job for us through the middle and then towards the end. So nice that we could do it in a big game, I guess.
And of course the final coming up shortly. A few things to think about: boundaries, of course, one side short, and also the wicket. What's the conditions like?
Yeah, the wicket played a little bit better, we thought, than it probably looked in the first game. It looked like it held a lot in the first game, whereas it sort of skidded on a bit more just then. So, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see if it keeps skidding on, whether it starts to get a bit dewy out there or not. We're not too sure. We'll just have to just play it by ear.
Of course, Chris Nash wasn't able to take part in the second innings. Thoughts on a replacement at the moment?
Not too sure yet. We'll probably have to speak to the Brains Trust. We've had Peter Trigo waiting in the wings, who's played a lot of cricket over a long period of time and had a lot of success down at Somerset. So, yeah, he's certainly one we can consider bringing in. Not too sure how Nashy is, to be honest. I'll have to go and find out shortly.
Well, of course, one more game to go, so I'll let you head off, but well done for today. Well played yourself.
So, thanks.
Yeah, well Dan Christian, well batted Dan Christian, well done Notts Outlaws. Easy to focus, as we have just done, on his batting, but how important was his bowling at the end of the innings?
Yeah, I mean, I think he sort of read the race pretty well in terms of getting the ends right, also the sort of the length that he was bowling. A lot of the time when Dan Christian bowls at Trent Bridge, and particularly we saw it in the quarter-final, he'll sort of take pace off, but he'll be dragging the ball into the pitch and getting the ball to sit up on those pitches where it hasn't quite come on at the same pace. You saw all of the Lancashire batsmen setting themselves deep in the crease, waiting for those shorter deliveries. He didn't bowl them. He just kept, pace off a little bit, but getting them right up there. And it kind of foxed, I think it was just a little out-thought, the Lancashire batters, who were all trying to find the boundary fence. And they only, no boundaries in the last 17 balls of the innings. So Jake Ball did a great job at the end there as well. And that, in the end, set up the win for them. I think they were 15 light. I think, Dan Christian himself agrees with that. And that's probably where the game was won and lost.
Where are we with the batting? I mean, it looked at one point when Alex Hales was going, it looked like the batting was getting a little bit easier. And you mentioned there, Dan, about the dew and the fact we're under lights. We often talk about the fact that it's a bit easier under lights. Where are we, do you think, going into the final here?
I think actually you've got to think that it's going to be the toughest time to bowl now. We're just starting to feel it. The dew's starting to come down. That pitch might just skip on a little bit. Then if the balls do get wet, then it becomes harder for the spinners to then grip it and really rip it. And spin's been such a factor, really, until Dan Christian came in and then just took it out of the equation. So really, you're thinking these two teams as well are probably the best sides that we've seen. I mean, you look at Lancashire, they're a good side, but they don't have as much strength and depth as what Notts do with the bat. Dan Christian coming in as opposed to someone like Keaton Jennings, there's a big difference, actually. And that's where this side, Surrey, with their spinners and some of their wiliness with Plunkett, is going to be a fascinating matchup.
But actually, that's where you look at the quarter-final win and the semi-final win for Notts. That's where their strength in depth has come in. I was having this debate on air at the end of the quarter-final, and Nas was saying, no, it's all about the top order. It was all about the top order in the earlier group games, but now, will they feel a bit more of a complete side, that everyone's making a contribution?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's difficult to tell. An 11-over game, I mean, how many batters do you need in an 11-over match? But this one, the final's going to be that little bit longer. Keesey rightly points out that Surrey have perhaps got a little bit more in the way of variety and bowling resources, and that might test that length. I do think, though, that both of these teams are going to want to chase. I think both of these two sides would be very happy to come out, try and restrict, and then go down and chase down whatever they're left in front of them in conditions which are getting increasingly difficult underfoot. The ball will start to get a lot wetter, etc., as the night goes on. So very interesting to see what happens at the toss. Whoever wins it, I'm pretty sure, will have a bowl first.
We're going to find that out fairly shortly because the toss is not that far away. Alex Hales, I mean, I just say looked in great touch. I mean, that's a great matchup, isn't it? You've got Jason Roy for Surrey, you've got Alex Hales. I mean, there's obviously Will Jacks, there's plenty more. How did he look to you, though, Alex Hales?
I thought he looked decent, actually. I mean, he's been done, ironically, by two Parkinsons, both bowling not the same type of delivery. One's obviously a left-arm spinner, the other a leg spinner. But they were two seriously good balls. Even for anything, he's almost, the ironic thing, I suppose, is that Hales, for all the shots that he's played, has got out both times almost like he's playing a test match where he's just got two decent seeds that he hasn't actually gone right forward to and play it as you would in a proper game when you're a longer format, not just a proper game. And he's been done really both times in the same way. But I think, I think batting's going to be, it's going to be in your favour now. And he looked, he's a dangerous player. And in what, 16 overs, is that what it is? You think you can go hard early? I'm fancying Alex Hales. I think he looks like he's just starting to get ready now after a poor tournament.
Did you think that was a key moment watching it live when Hales was out and you thought, oh, hang on a minute, Parkinson still with another over and a half to bowl?
I just thought they were too far in front with too much depth. But the interesting thing is, as Rob says, and Nas picked it out upstairs, that it was almost an identical dismissal. Defending sort of up the line of middle and leg stump, defending it from where the ball pitched as opposed to where it might turn. And you would say if you were talking about a test match or a longer form game, well, you need to just get a little bit of a bigger stride in to smother the spin. But what he's trying to do, he's trying to get it to run off the face of the bat and nip out for a single on the offside. And both times the ball has spun too sharply for him.
Are we all not talking like former ex-players that never made that mistake? I mean, let's be honest, that was a brilliant delivery, wasn't it? It was going down leg side, and often you don't get a big stride.
I'm just describing what happened.
If I had to pundit myself, I'd be here all day talking about all the horrendous technique I used to have, falling across LBWs. Man alive.
I'm going to back up for the batsman. I reckon that was a pretty decent delivery.
I'll tell you one thing. If either of us were talking about our own games, neither of us are hitting it off the back foot, first ball over long off the six.
Absolutely.
As Joe Clark did. What a shot that was. That's a stunning shot, first ball. Extraordinary.
He looks a real talent, doesn't he? I know he's not got the big runs in the quarter-final and semi-final, but of all players we've seen, does he look as fluent as most, certainly in that quarter-final? How do you guys see that?
He looks confident, I know that. I mean, he had a bit of a rough time of it last year, didn't make the runs that he would have wanted after the move from Worcestershire, but we've known for a long time that he's a very talented boy. It's his first ball. I mean, really?
The game's changed, but
that's just
for the better.
It's an absolute outrage, yeah. Of course
it has. We'd have been it, wouldn't we? Sort of
I would have been lucky to have got sort of half a bat on that, down to third man.
Who do you reckon, I've played in these, not in a shortened game, but in finals day, who do you reckon it suits? The team that have just played and they can go out and go, or Surrey have had to have a bit of a wait?
I've never known the answer to this. I mean, what are the stats? Do you know what the stats are in terms of first game, second game?
No, I don't. I remember, though, playing against Middlesex after we'd played the first game against Essex and done all right. Then we went back to the hotel, got a bit bored. You can't sort of, when you got something on that evening and you're going out for dinner and you can't just sort of, you can't relax, can you?
Yeah.
And you end up, Tyrone Henderson, I think, got 40-odd in, or maybe even 60-odd in the second semi-final. And then he walked out to bat. They won the toss, had a bat, and it's like he's 60-odd not out.
Yeah.
So I always thought that suited them then. So the likes of Hales, Christian, who's just come out, if he did find himself batting again, you've got a feeling good touch, haven't you, the way he's just played?
I remember my first final. It was the final you played in 2003, wasn't it? Did you play?
No, I didn't play.
You were. That's right. You were interviewing Atomic Kitten.
That's
weren't
right.
You? That's
yeah,
right.
that was my favourite finals day. That one. Yeah.
You were keeping us all entertained.
What did you say to Atomic Kitten?
I don't know. I asked them who they fancied in the final, and one of them turned round and said, "I'm going to go for Surrey because I'm always saying sorry." And so I asked the next one.